as I was making my last video about the new year and the spring equinox, Spirit brought to my remembrance a video that I had made when I was talking about Moses and how he went into Egypt to rescue God's people, and how he promised them a new Egypt. He introduced them to Christianity. Christianity was brand new. It actually was created by those who study Judaism as a way of kind of offering them a new religion that was based off Judaism with the promise of a Christ. So basically they understood that the people needed a savior that was more physical, that was a promise of something they would actually be able to see, because they weren't fully believing in the things that they couldn't see. They were worshiping what was considered to be idols, like golden statues of different beings, deities. And so he basically took them. They ended up in the wilderness for 40 years. And it was because they kept repeating cycles that they had always repeated. So when we go back to my video where I was talking about how the calendar, the New Year's, is a part of the Gregorian calendar, which is what we follow every single day. It is what reminds you that you need to go to work within a week. If you work Monday through Friday, you look at that calendar and you say, oh, it's Tuesday. I do have to work today. Also, time is a construct that was created to coincide with the Gregorian calendar. So that's why we count down into the new year. It's a system that has been put in place to keep everyone in alignment, in focus, and also like to allow the structure to continue to work so that those systems can remain in place. When you become more conscious, you're able to function in a system that does not control you, that you now know how to navigate through. And you learn more and more each day, each week, each month, how to navigate through those different systems so that they're no longer controlling you, but you're actually navigating them from a way of higher consciousness, knowing that at any point in time, time can't hold you. So like there are times when people don't even know what time it is. Like you can be at work and the time at work, it'll be 9 o'clock one minute and 2 o'clock the next. When you consciously are focusing on time not holding you, you may get more actually done. But my reason for making this video is because they were in the wilderness for 40 years because they were still connected to the old system, and they were being told that the old system was wrong. So every part of their being was literally like infused into their system. It was programmed so deeply that they still wanted to worship physical things that they could see. And so because they wanted to worship physical things that they could see, they were not fully focused on the God or the promise of a Christ that they couldn't see. So they would listen to the information, much like people are doing now. Different healers make videos like this. Healers, oracles, seers make videos all the time. But people still are living their lives the same way that they always have and showing up the way that they always have, because they love getting information, but a lot of the information that they're not sure how to put it in practice. And they also don't feel like they should have to allow someone else to teach them how to do it, that they should be able to figure it out on their own. The problem with that is, if you could do it on your own, it would have already been done. So here you have people walking through the wilderness of spirituality and consciousness, still practicing some of the things, or a lot of the things that they've always practiced, because they understand that the physical things that they see, that they're a part of, that manages their home, that funds their life, are the things that are the most important to those around them. When I was making a lot of money, I used to work at a few places where I made a lot of money, like like crazy amounts of money. And at these places, I used to work 5, 10, 6, 5 or 10, 5 or 6, 10-hour days. I was at work a lot because I would pick up overtime. They understood that, technically I only had to work 4 days, but I could pick up 2 extra days if I wanted to, because my body was conditioned to working that long. I had some weeks when I didn't even have a day off, because I had scheduled my schedule in a way where I would work 10 days on, and then I would have a few days off. That way I would get a whole weekend off. So I scheduled it where I would work 10 days, be off for 4. And then work 10 days and be off for 4. And I had to schedule that very strategically, because it will allow me to be able to be, at different events that my kids has and stuff like that. But that system really worked well for me, because I was making crazy amounts of money, and the people around me loved it because they benefited from it. Because I have always been a generous person, I always like to take care of the people around me. So we would go places and I would pay for everybody's stuff. And the moment that I no longer did that and someone had to fund something for me, I found out who was truly okay with doing stuff for me, but who wasn't okay with it, and who still held me to that old narrative. You can be held to an old identity by the people that benefit from it, because they understand that if you are still that person, it makes certain aspects of their life easier. It's very comfortable to know that, like, that's why people who used to sell drugs on the street, went to jail, decided they didn't want to do it anymore. If their, mom, significant other, old girlfriend or whatever is used to them making $5,000, $10,000 a week, when you come back from jail, you either will decide to go back to that life, or you will go to a life that they may not accept, because they won't be able to receive the same type of gifts and gratitude and abundance from you that they always have. So it looks like they're not supporting your journey, because they're not supporting your journey. And the reason they're not supporting it is because it made their life easy. It made their life simpler. But it also robbed you of so much of your life, because when you get into a hustle life, hustle is like cocaine. It's like crack. It's like meth. It's literally like hustle and work culture can be more addictive than sugar, more addictive than cheese, more addictive than any drug you put in your body. Because if you know how to go get it, the streets is always going to be calling you. The companies are always going to be calling you. Like, even now, sometimes I think, oh, I can go to work and I can get this, and, I can go work at a company instead of like working in my businesses. I'm like, I can go to, if I need $6,000, I can make this in a month, because I have the skills and I am the type of employee that is trainable. But when you break those systems, you now understand how they will control your life. And not to say that you can't be a part of those systems, but you have to manage them in a way where they're not taking over your whole entire life, where you're missing these key moments, and when you also don't realize that your time is important as well. You're not on their time. They're on your time. So they were in the wilderness because their belief system was being rejected and not accepted. And then also helping them to transition into a new belief system while they were in the old belief system.